Irvingman! Somewhere on the North American continent, I assume, a first American tribe has lost their chief. As you can see, he wasn't actually a first American. He was a white guy in blackface and an elaborate headdress, but the tribe indulged him because he was also the village idiot. He had a good run and died of natural causes, so now a council has gathered to select a new chief. Best I can tell, it's done by a random drawing. Each of them puts a certain colored stick into a hollowed out gourd that the medicine man carries. He picks one, and whoever it belongs to is the new chief. Except there's a little proviso to that.
Donaga, the test of a warrior.
The test is you have to stare at that face for 5 minutes without laughing. Meet Ralph Moody. He played a fair range of characters, but as often as not, this was what he was doing, playing a Native American. I have to say, that face is a lot more convincing than most of the pseudo-Indians we normally see in these old shows. He was born in 1886 and started acting on stage before there was anything else. When radio came along, he made the jump and was thoroughly successful throughout the 30s and 40s. He was 62 when he finally tried his hand at visual media, which is to say movies and TV. Considering how he usually wound up in a get-up like this, talking, "How oh great spirit, happy hunting ground, me Tarzan, you Jane" type dialogue, I wonder if he ever questioned that decision.
It is the law of our tribe, my son. Donaga for the new chief.
Great Horse put his name in the hat for one reason, so he can get the job, step aside, and let his son be chief. His son has some really cool progressive ideas to help his tribe, but the old guard doesn't feel like listening. How familiar is that? If he's their chief, they'll have to listen. Great Horse is a good man, a good father, and he's loyal to his tribe, but he knows his tribe is floundering in the modern world and they're in danger of vanishing altogether. So he has to do this. Next, let's see if we can figure out what any of this has to do with Superman.
Wow. I mean, how?
How do you do? Would you be so kind as to direct me to the office of the editor?
Certainly, Chief. Sir.
My name is John Tallstar.
I'm Jimmy Olsen.
How do you do?
It's right this way.
If I had been in Mr. Tallstar's place, I would have glanced at Jimmy and said, "I'm here to collect scalps. Mind if I take a look at yours?" But as we all know, sometimes I'm not the nicest person in the world, especially if there's a chance I can get a good laugh out of it and teach someone a lesson at the same time. Mr. Tallstar has come to Perry with a message from Red Hawk, Great Horse's son. He's afraid for his father's safety in the test.
You're a bit doubtful that Great Horse will be equal to this warrior's test, as you call it.
It is almost too much for a young warrior. I think it will kill Great Horse, Mr. White.
Okay, now please explain why you went to a newspaper editor in a big city instead of to the Bureau of Indian Affairs and wherever your tribe is located. What does he expect Perry to do?
I seek the only one who can help us. There's an ancient legend in our tribe. It tells of a mighty warrior, the greatest fighter, hunter, leader our tribe ever knew. When he died, according to the legend, he flew off into the clouds. Since then, he has become a strong totem, a symbol of help. We call him the Great White Bird.
Say no more, we can see where this is going. There's only one great white bird around here, although when he's flying, he's more blue and red than white. But we can let that pass.
Clark Kent, who was the one to contact Superman, is away on an assignment. When he returns, I'll speak to him about this. In the meanwhile, your story has news value. Lois Lane, a staff reporter, can investigate for Mr. Kent. And if you've no objections, I'd like Jimmy Olsen to go with both of you for pictures.
Mr. Tallstar agrees. He says, "I can fly them there as soon as they're ready." He already explained that he was a pilot in the war and his tribe sits on oil land, so he can afford to have his own private plane that he flies himself. In creative writing, we call that how to wrap up about half a dozen loose-end questions in one sentence. In proper TV fashion, the test has 3 parts. It wasn't until much later, around the 70s and 80s, that writers and producers finally felt a little bit comfortable starting to violate the sacred number. Lois and Jimmy arrive to find that they're too late. The tests have already started. Okatee, the medicine man, apparently got wind that Red Hawk was up to something and moved the timetable ahead. we're going to get the impression real quick that Okatee doesn't want Great Horse to become chief. It's not hard to guess why. But it doesn't matter right now. It's time for the first test.
The warrior enters the cave blindfolded after the bear has gone in the cave. My father will be unarmed.
And he's expected to come out alive?
If the gods will it.
How many past chiefs have actually passed this test, and how many body parts did they lose in the process? Lois says, I'm going to drive back to town and try to get hold of Clark. Find a way to stall. Red Hawk has an idea about that.
Wise Okatee, guardian of the tradition of our tribe, may I speak?
Son of Great Horse, Donaga should not be interrupted.
Not even if our customs are being violated?
Speak.
Come, brother.
He says, you heard me call him brother. We can't proceed any further with council business until we make him a member of the tribe. It would violate our laws. Okatee doesn't like it, but he has to agree, so Donaga will be put on hold for a little bit. Part of the ceremony involves the good old peace pipe. Wow, that was rough. Imagine how much rougher it would have been if he had gotten any actual smoke.
Now a brother joins our tribe. His name is Sagua.
What does that mean?
Big cough.
Just imagine how much bigger it would have been if... Wait, I already did that one. That wasn't much of a stall. Lois only barely finished talking to Perry at the first phone she could find, and Clark is out, due back soon. About the only thing we accomplished with that was hinting that Jack Larson maybe didn't smoke.
Gully, the bear.
The bear? Well, is that man the bear?
Yes.
They put those claws on him, then they put a curly tail on him and call him Man Bear Pig. Red Hawk introduced Jimmy as a chief among his people, so Jimmy jumps up and says, as a chief, I demand to do the test first. Red Hawk says, are you crazy? Jimmy says, I'm counting on Superman to get here in time.
Your new brother speaks like a foolish paleface. I see no powers in him that make him rank as a chief.
Oh, no? Well, watch.
He lays out a string of flashbulbs. Surely these people have seen cameras and flashbulbs before. It's the middle of the 1950s and the whole country has been modernizing for over 20 years, so I'm not sure how they could avoid it.
If I make the lightning gods obey me, would that not be the mark of a chief?
It would be if.
Then let the lightning flash. Well?
Red Hawk's brother is indeed a chief.
But somehow they did. If they think that's lightning, they're going to love disco in a couple of decades. Lois finally got hold of Clark.
You mean to say you left Jimmy alone with a character like that? You know Jimmy hasn't got sense enough to come in out of the rain.
He probably won't have to. Hasn't rained here in months.
Oh, very funny. Yes, of course. I'll do everything I can.
I like how he's more concerned about Jimmy tripping over his own feet than he is about the new chief being mauled to death. Remember, Lois doesn't know it's not a real bear. In the cave, the man bear is giving him a fighting chance, at least sort of. He's making growling noises to let Jimmy know where he is. Jimmy has to go to where the guy is, then come out alive. Yeah, that's all. Question. If the bear kills him, do they just leave him there, or does the bear get to eat him? Superman never forgave himself for being too late and sent himself into exile on the far side of the moon. To keep up appearances, he told everybody he was taking Clark Kent with him for company. They bought it. Gonna have to wash the suit again. He got bear stuff all over it. With no claws, there is no bear, so Great Horse gets a pass on that one. On to the test of the tree.
He must chop down that tree with his tomahawk in a matter of minutes. The effort and strain will be too much for an old man's heart.
When Great Horse starts chopping, we'll see that the tree is at least 3 to 4 feet in diameter. Chop it down in minutes with a tomahawk. I thought about asking who dreams up these tests, but we know the answer, and it ain't the chiefs. It's the guy who claims to have a special connection to the Great Spirit and know more about what it wants than the average dude. If they're convinced enough, he can invent stuff like this, not so the Great Spirit can choose the right chief, but so the medicine man can manipulate things and choose the one he wants. You may be able to surmise from all this stuff that even when they do have a chief, he's not the one really in charge. Everywhere, in every time, in every age, in every culture, in every little pocket of humanity on the planet, religion and politics do not mix. When religion gets too much power, it gets corrupted. When politics gets too beholden to religion, it gets afraid and fails to make wise use of its authority, ceding everything to the religion. We've seen it throughout human history, and we're seeing it right here before our eyes. Okatee is drunk with power. He gets off on being able to do this and pretty much single-handedly choose the new chief according to his whims. Hence the requirement for a man probably close to my age to chop down a gigantic tree using a spoon. Even though we all know Okatee couldn't even have done it when he was 50 years younger. But he doesn't have to. He gets to make other people do it.
Look!
A great white bird.
It's Superman, Red Hawk, the help you asked for.
He uses sign language to tell them he needs to get across the open space to the tree without the others seeing. But hold on. Last episode he moved too fast for anyone to see and convinced some guys that he was a ghost. Why can't he move that fast now? In any case, Jimmy grabs his camera and has all those guys pose for a picture. Facing away from the tree, the light's better that way. Or whatever story it takes to get them to turn around. During some lean times at the planet, Clark Kent was able to hire himself out as a chainsaw. Great Horse is flabbergasted. As we saw, Okatee is furious. This is not going according to plan. But the third test, the test of black smoke, is entirely under his control.
Pipe of black smoke means death if the medicine man is displeased. And Okatee is angry. That is quite obvious, Mr. Olson.
What'll happen?
Okatee will fill the pipe. My father will smoke it. If the gods will it, the legend says he will live.
If he puts the usual stuff in the pipe, everything is fine. If he doesn't like the idea of Great Horse becoming chief, he'll put poison in it and the smoke will kill the smoker. This is what's known as a random test to determine the will of the gods. And we already know what they want, at least according to Okatee.
But why should he be?
I think he senses that I am against the old superstitions and fears that the medicine men have always played on to rule us. Besides, he lost face when the bear lost his claws and the tree fell so easily.
How did he lose face? This stuff isn't supposed to be about him. It's supposed to be about Great Horse and the Great Spirit. Okatee's just supposed to be the MC. But like all men who get drunk with power, everything has to be about him. So this last test is more like murder. They'll watch Okatee carefully as he fills the pipe and they can see that he put the poison in it. Great Horse won't be dissuaded. Let's get this over with.
Great Spirit, touch the pipe to be smoked. Let the lips of the warrior Great Horse bring him life or death. Donaga.
Superman doesn't appear to have intervened. He's just standing there. Shouldn't he call out Okatee on his deception or something?
The smoke, it's white. The outside of the bowl, it's charred. Somehow the black poisonous powder was burned away, neutralized.
I don't know where Superman is, but I'll bet his X-ray vision had something to do with this.
You knew I was pulling your leg about Superman not intervening, right?
The great white bird has brought you a new chief. The good spirit of help is now with our people, Okatee, not your evil tricks.
You speak of legends, Red Hawk. There is no such person.
Legends, eh? Let's talk about the origins of your little test there, my man. Show me the science behind them.
Oh, great white bird, the time has come. I need your help.
Did you ask my help, my friend?
Okatee is determined to prove this guy isn't the great white bird. He has him run the gauntlet, then says the great white bird can fly. Let's see this guy do that. Okati, I believe the words you're looking for are, never mind. They've been having a drought, so Superman will do something about that. We'll actually watch him break into a construction company and steal some dynamite, something I would think might reflect badly on someone who's such a champion of upholding the law. He didn't even leave a note. How rude. So what's he going to do with it? Well, now see, that's where I should have been more observant. I didn't notice that he grabbed that special new dynamite that's full of water. Hey, that's my explanation. You come up with your own. The stereotypes here are pretty badly done. This isn't F Troop where we're deliberately making fun of stereotypes. This is supposed to be serious. This tribe is living somewhere near the East Coast, yet they're living in teepees. But when Red Hawk introduced Jimmy, he said he had a visitor come to his wigwam, which if he had had a wigwam would have been a bit more accurate. Somebody didn't put much effort into trying to make this authentic, so they gave us a northeastern tribe living in plains dwellings but calling them something else because we didn't bother to find out what a wigwam looked like. Stereotypes in the age of Jim Crow, I can let slide. Poor research, not so much.
Thanks for watching, kids, and remember, clicking that like button is cool, subscribing is even cooler, leaving a comment is as cool as the coolest person you know, and becoming a patron makes you almost just like Superman. So don't hesitate. Do it today. Until next time.
But like all men who get drunk with power, everything has to be about him. So you are making a lot of noise over there, you know that?